Making the classic roll collar coat. Part 10. Adding the facings to complete the roll collar. The facing is interfaced on that side. Here is our back neck facing. This process is pretty much a repeat of the last lesson, but this time we are going to join the back neck facing to the front facing. Again, we are going to clip these corners. Again, matching the centre back and the corner points, we are going to pin in place. We pivot here and pin along the shoulder seam, like so. So let's get the neckline pinned first. Making sure our corner points are nicely positioned. I'll just turn this around to make it easier. That's now ready for machining. Right, machine as before. These corners can be tricky, but to be honest, as you will see when the coat is finished, they're not really on show, and if you get a few creases and bumps here, it won't be noticed. So that's machined, and as before we have to trim and clip to reduce bulk and to allow the seams to lay flat when pressed. This time I'm using my tailor's ham to press these seams. Aim to achieve a nice flat seam here. The seam allowances of the two back necklines will be stitched together. We don't want lumps and bumps around the back of the neck. More from a comfort point of view. It's not always just about appearances. Well, that's pretty near perfect, I'd say. The next step is to attach the lower facing, matching the notch. So right sides together, pin and machine and press the seam open. Now we get to the interesting part, joining the facing to the front. So taking our front, we will join the two layers, right sides together, pinning around the collar and continuing all the way down the front edges of the coat. So start by matching the centres. Match all the notches. Match the collar points. Continue pinning all the way down, matching the notches. Notice that the facing is shorter than the coat front. Fill in between with pins. We are machining from hemline to hemline, around collar and fronts. Machine a nice straight seam as this is the all-important coat front. It's a long seam, so keep your garment nice and flat on the table as you stitch. I'm checking to make sure that the seam allowance in the facing is flat. Approaching the collar point, I have my chalk line to keep me on track. When you get to the point of the collar, with needle down, take one stitch across the point, pivot again, and continue around the collar. I have a foot pedal that stitches half a stitch if you press on the back. In other words, my machine is set to needle up, but a tap on the back of the pedal puts the needle down. Very useful. Otherwise, just turn the flywheel until the needle is in the fabric. Again, stitching carefully around the second point, pivoting while the needle is down in the fabric. And down the front to the hem. That's done. Next, we're going to carefully trim this seam for a perfect turn through of our roll collar. Sewing tutorials supported by AngelaCain.com membership, sewing pattern sales and fan funding. For news of up-and-coming videos, please subscribe to our channel. Once subscribed, set your preferences to be notified by email. Thank you very much for watching.